6:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I just want to thank everybody for attending the Mid-Year at Home edition of the Women's Council of Realtors conference. I wish we were all together in DC, but I'm loving seeing everybody's faces. We are in a webinar mode, so we won't be able to see you, but you guys should be able to see us and your screen. Thank you to Olivia, who is going to man our Q&A and chat box, and we're going to toss to her for that at the end of our presentation. So it is my great honor to introduce to you our panelists. We have from Miami-Dade, Rebecca Carmona. She is with the Women's Council of Realtors Miami-Dade Network. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary, and she's going to share with us how they have taken their membership from just over 60 to just over 120. So doubling their membership in a single, not even 6 months of the year. And then we have Molly Bruno, who is from Eastern Connecticut. And what's exciting about introducing you to Molly and her story is that she is actually chartering a new network as of October 2019. She has taken her network from launch to explode in less than 6 months during COVID. So I can't wait for you guys to meet these beautiful ladies. It's been my absolute pleasure. Again, I'm Cindy DeCoster. I am your 2020 National Executive Committee member, and I will be your moderator for today's panel. So let's get started on what actually led these ladies to join the council and step up into leadership. So let's start with Miss Molly Bruno.
So thank you, Cindy, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. One of the things that led me to the Women's Council, or meeting people who were in Women's Council, was actually mid-year, so this week. I was actually in DC last year because I was part of our YPN, our local YPN, and so I had kind of gotten into this experience of going to the national events, and I started to meet other women who were also in Women's Council, and I was like, well, what is that? Because we didn't have a network in our area. There's only one other one in the other side of Connecticut, in Fairfield County. So as far as us, we would have to drive over an hour to get to either one in Fairfield County or the other side in Rhode Island. So I met a lot of these wonderful people down in DC, came back home and kind of like put it in the back of my head. But then Sylvia actually, she called me and she was wondering, do I want to start a network? And I'm the type of person, when you ask me something, I'm obviously just going to say, yes, absolutely, jump in without having any idea what even Women's Council was, what the structure was, how to even get a network going. So she helped me go from basically knowing nothing about it to understanding what the strategy, what the passion and the mission is all about. And so I took all the skills that I had with YPN, because I had helped to revitalize our YPN on a local level. So I took all those skills, and now I had a bigger platform, not just young agents or new agents, but to all women, which obviously is the bulk of agents in the industry. So, and especially we felt like we needed to see that need filled for women in leadership. New England and Connecticut is still kind of like the old boys club. So once we started talking about it, we found there's so many people, so many women who really support women empowerment in business. So it kind of fit all my my goals, my personal goals and my business goals. And that's how I really got involved with Women's Council.
I love that. Thank you. Yes, you saw a need, you filled a need, and your enthusiasm was what was contagious and helped you spread our mission and vision. I love it. Thank you, Molly. And how about you, Miss Rebecca?
Thank you, Miss Cindy. Thank you so much for having me on this panel today. And thank you for all the attendees for coming and learning and about growing your membership. That's awesome. You know, I have been a realtor for 16 years, but believe it or not, I had never heard about Women's Council of Realtors. And in 2016, I was a successful agent. I was thriving and I wanted to give back to my community. I just wanted to volunteer for an organization, something within women, a women's group or a children's group, something like that. And one of our amazing past presidents, Denora Guerra, told me about Women's Council. And I was like, what's Women's Council? I've never heard of this organization. And so she's like, oh, well, become a member, get involved, come to a meeting. And the first event that I went to, I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing organization. I'd love to be involved with this organization. So when I got involved, my why was just like, I want to volunteer. I want to give back. I want to help out. And if we're gonna benefit women, why not, right? So that's kind of what led me to the council. Over the years, my why has changed. You know, I've held now several positions within the council. I've grown personally and professionally. I started as a kind of co-host, you know, co-chairing events, just helping out, doing what needs to be done. Then I was the events director. I was the secretary, president-elect, and now I'm the president. So I've had so much time within this organization that while I started to want to volunteer, now my why is like, wow, I can help people not only here locally, but nationwide. I can build these great relationships and help women just exceed and grow and elevate themselves. So I love Women's Council, and that's what ultimately led me here and has kept me here for all these years.
I love that. And honestly, so many times we take for granted what has led us to the council and what we get out of it, that everybody else sees the same thing. So that's why when we started this conversation with these two young ladies, was I wanted to know their story. Tell me why, because so many times you forget. It's easy to forget and realize, you know what, we're necessary in this industry, and we're necessary in this economic environment, and we're necessary to our communities. And so I love how you guys just live and breathe the council's mission. So thank you so much. All right, let's dive in to how have you grown your network? So now we kind of know where you came from, and we understand what you saw and are benefiting, if you will, from the council. Now show me how you've, let's share how we've turned that into growing your individual networks. And I'm gonna start with Miss Molly. I just love this. You make my heart so happy, I can't even tell you. And so explain to us how October 2019, the shutdown for you all started what, in February, March?
Mid-March, yeah.
Yeah, so you've had explosive growth. Explain to us what you've done, what you've experienced, and what was so attractive to the needs of your individual location.
Well, with Sylvia and Carrie and some of the other ladies who are already in the network's help, that we really helped to collaborate, to pull together our first event, which was kind of like a membership recruitment event, but it became so much more than that, because it was obvious that the energy in the room, having these women come out to little Norwich, Connecticut, you know, my hometown, and they weren't charging us money. They weren't like trying to put us, have us put them up in a hotel. You know, they came out with this camaraderie and the sisterhood that was so infectious. And it's like such a missing piece, I think, in our business, just because, you know, we're very competitive as real estate agents, but especially in my work with the association, I've come to know other agents and they're my close friends. And so I saw that as a benefit. And I think once we got other people in the room, they also saw that energy, that infectious energy, that we don't have to cut each other down. We can just build each other up and have these amazing relationships with other agents, whether it's locally or nationally. And so I think that energy really was infectious. And so at our first event, when Sylvia and Kerry came, and we had members from the Fairfield County and also from the Massachusetts networks, they came down to help us start, and they blew it out of the park. You know, they just gave a great presentation. We had almost 20, 30 people at least show interest at that first meeting. And then, so my challenge after that was just to keep that interest going, keep that momentum going. So we had another event in right after January, and so we kind of kicked off the year. Our Connecticut president, Joanne Breen, she spoke, and she had, you know, a great message about women in leadership. We had local business people talking at that meeting, and so we saw this like momentum growing. We kept getting a lot of feedback and members to join after these in-person events, but then COVID hit. And at first I didn't really know, like, how can we translate that energy into a Zoom call? Like, that's impossible, like we can't do that. So I was a little bit depressed for a while, depressed and angry when COVID hit and we were all staying home. And then I realized, like, I can't just stop my momentum. Like, I have to keep pushing forward. And I reached out again to Sylvia, to Kerry. So we almost replicated our Zoom call when we had a meeting to push the membership forward, replicating that October event where we had the energy of all these women in business coming together. And so we started to see that momentum growing on Zoom, and we realized, you know, there's so much shifting in the market, whether it's through virtual tours. I learned how to do Matterport tours with a 3D camera. So there was all this new information coming out that in Connecticut, we weren't seeing a huge push for education at all from any other sources. And I'm seeing, you know, Texas and California, all these other states where there's a lot of agents who have these tools and are learning them and using them. So, you know, I said, well, if we start pushing our education component so that way we can keep our members really fresh, then we can help grow our chapter and attract members. And so we did a couple of those. We did a Zoom calls, learning about Matterport. And so we've still been able to build relationships with strategic partners. We've been getting giveaways and all that through, even through COVID. So we're almost at the point where we can send in our application and be an official charter. So, you know, we keep pushing our governance board to build and build and build. And so I'm hoping before the end of the summer that we'll be official.
I love that. I love that you said that you're staying relevant and timely in delivering value to your membership, and that is evident in the success that you've had. So good job, ladies. All right, Miss Rebecca, share with us. You were quite on a different path because now you are in an established 50th anniversary network. And how do you stay relevant and continue to grow and develop your network?
Molly was absolutely right. Collaborating, you know, keeping that mindset high, and also growing the passion for the council. I love that, Molly, you've leveraged your local association, because here locally, we've highly leveraged our association. So our association is one of our annual partners. We present at their new member orientations. So they let us come in and talk about Women's Council and the value of Women's Council. We also get given tables at their big events. So when they have an event going on, we'll go in there and put on a table and present the value of Women's Council there as well. We've also started, I think, which has contributed to this growth at our network, is we started presenting the value of the council at brokerage offices, because we know that, you know, these are realtors, and just like me, I've been a realtor for a long time. I'd never heard about Women's Council before. So how do you reach these realtors? You get into the brokerage offices and you just ask the broker, hey, I'm a not-for-profit, organization, part of the National Association of Realtors, love to come in for 5 minutes. I don't want to take a long time, of your sales meeting, but at the end of your sales meeting, I'd love to come in for 5 minutes and present Women's Council why, and why your realtor should become a member. And if it's a smaller brokerage, you can ask to send an email out to their realtors. So this has been very helpful in helping us grow our membership. The other thing that I think was a huge success for us here locally is we created a competition amongst our leaders. So you'll see now coming up how large our project team leaders are in our board. And what we did is we said, you know what, we're going to create a competition from now until April. The person that recruits the most members is going to receive a $300 Visa gift card. And the person that comes in second is going to get $150, and the third place person is going to get $50. So it created this competition amongst the leadership team, like, oh my God, I'm going to recruit people. I want to win some money. So that was huge. Also, we engage heavily in social media. We consist with our branding on social media. We shout out our members. We do member highlights, our strategic partners. So other realtors and people seeing that online, the consistency and the branding and the ongoing content, they reach out to us directly. We don't even have to reach out to them. And even within this COVID shutdown period, we've already gained 5 new members just through social media. So social media is a huge, huge part. So, one of the other important things is knowing the value of the council and being able to pitch the value, because an elevator pitch and knowing, like, if somebody comes up to you, just like in real estate, how's the market? Well, the same thing. Oh, you're part of Women's Council. What's Women's Council? That is something that you need to know as a leader, as well as teaching your leadership team, what is Women's Council? How can they explain that? So this is kind of our elevator pitch, Cindy, that we send out in emails. We do tweak it a little bit more. It's not all of it's here, but this is what we send out.
I love that. And here's what I love about it is that you're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
We have such a powerful mission statement that it really speaks to who we are and what we stand for and what we do and the space that we are relevant in. And so I absolutely applaud you guys. You have been leading the charge for sure. And again, I just want to point out, each of these ladies have doubled their membership inside of a very challenging environment. So I love that. We're going to talk a little bit more in just a second. So let me get my slides moving to how have you maintained. So this is one of the largest challenges with any organization, with any business. So you can recruit, right? We hate the word recruit. Nobody wants to feel gotten. But once you have the relationships and the memberships join, how do you stay engaged with them? How do you maintain relevance in their space, especially now where you have the grab of attention from, I need to pay my bills, I need to take care of my kids, I need to teach my kids school, I need to make money, I need to make my customers, buyers and sellers feel safe and all of that. And now we're doing a volunteer leadership organization. So it is a tall order, and I love how you guys have risen to the challenge. So let's share, if you will, a little bit about the things that you've done to maintain your relevance with your members and the relationship building increase rather than decrease during this time. Molly, let's start with you, if you will. Molly, can you hear me?
I forgot to unmute. So like I said before, we had switched to a Zoom platform, and but one of the other powerful things that has gotten us to maintain the relationships is just picking up the phone. So like anytime that I'm looking to, whether it's to re-engage someone who was a prospective member or not, just picking up the phone and calling them and just saying, like, how is business going? That's been really powerful for me. And normally when there are more in-person events, you'd have those opportunities to have those little conversations with people. But since they're not happening organically. And then sometimes in a Zoom call, you don't have time to necessarily have those personal conversations. Just picking up the phone and just asking how people are doing, that's been really powerful for me. And you find out, what do people need? One of the agents who was on the other side of a deal with me, she's a newer agent, and she's like, well, I don't even know how to do Facebook Live. So like, I heard this is a need, like these are the things that people want to learn. And if they're not getting it from their broker, they're not getting it from other training areas, we can fill that need. We can be that voice of education, even if it's just small skills. So I think that that's definitely helped to keep us relevant in front of our members. And like I said, the leadership collaboration, whenever I reach out to the national members, they're always there for me. They answer questions, they'll show up, they'll Zoom with our members. And I think that's really powerful because our agents don't necessarily have that connection. Like, it's been, I think, a challenge to convert our members to realize that there is this bigger association out there. And the more that the national members are willing to come and connect with our members, and even just talking about, little tips for your business, like that's so powerful for us because we're coming from this more competitive, cutthroat kind of environment. So just seeing that sharing has been really powerful for us. And one of my biggest things is recruiting people who have that same kind of infectious energy that want to grow the association just as much as I have. So I chose people who wanted to be on the governance board, and I wanted to make sure that they understood that this is a volunteer organization. So that's a big thing. So a lot of the people who I had mentored through YPN, they were, easy to convert to Women's Council because they saw the power of giving back. They already knew that the more they put in, that the more they would get out. So whether it's building their business skills, making their teams more powerful, they just saw that the more that they volunteered, and whether it's just throwing an event together or just practicing their skills for calling people, cold calling. It's almost like, you're calling your clients, but you want to make it in the theme where you're not necessarily selling. You're not trying to sell. You're just trying to engage people in a conversational level. So whether it's,
That's awesome.
Choosing people who are respected, obviously, who people like and can speak well. So that was a big thing for me when I was choosing my team. This picture was taken last year at our holiday benefit. So this was kind of one of our things where we were collaborating with our association. We have a benefit raffle, and then they let us take a picture and just kind of call anyone up who was interested in joining. So we got that great photo.
That's awesome.
I love that. It just shows the energy, and I think that's great. Fantastic. Okay,
I'm gonna go quick.
We're on time, so I'm gonna let Rebecca talk to us again how she built engagement through involvement. So Rebecca, give us a quick overview of what we're looking at.
Yeah, I'm gonna go quick because I just saw Olivia's message. We got 5 minutes before we're getting kicked off. So Molly, absolutely, power of a team is huge. If you don't have opportunities to push others forward, that's where we as a leader will fail to not have people moving up. And so what we've done here is that we've actually created all these project team leaders. So this year we actually have a team of 21. So we have our board of directors, and then we've created all these project team leaders. And we don't have job descriptions for these project team leaders. In order to give them guidance and help in order for them to be successful, what we did was we put together this, and this is just an example of what it is that they're going to be doing throughout the year. So it helps and better directs them, and they know what they're supposed to be doing, and they know what is expected of them, which is, I think, part of leadership. You give them a something to do, but if you don't tell them, okay, well, this is how you do it, and this is where you do it, and this is what is expected, that's where I think sometimes, we have a lot of people leave because they don't know what to do.
Right.
As far as social media and engaging, this is huge. Branding, if you notice here, we're actually about to hit 3,000 followers. We're only 50 off of 3,000. We're super excited for that. So you'll see here that all of our branding, we do member highlights. So just engaging with your membership and shouting them out on social media, acknowledging them. This was one of our huge events. This was the largest membership drive that we had ever had. This was actually a partnered event with our local association. We had a table at that event. We collected business cards. What we did was we had a sign-up bonus. So only at that event, if you became a member, you could get a swag bag. It had all kinds of great promotional materials from all of our partners in it. We would pin you on the spot. We took a picture with you and acknowledged you on social media. And then we gave you a complimentary ticket to our next event. So that was actually huge. And in that event, the pre-COVID event that we just saw, we were able to gain 20 new members just in one event. And we also had a contest at the table, and everybody that was working that table, whoever recruited the most members, received a $25 gift card. So back to the membership. As far as post-COVID, we're doing the same thing that Molly's doing. We're utilizing Zoom. And this is an example of one of the events that we did here. We actually put together a diverse group talking. It was funny, it was hilarious, it was timely. We had the Florida Realtors Vice President, the chairman of the board, a #1 agent that's also our member here locally, and then we had a coach and mentor. And these are the stats that you see that event alone, and we got 1 new member just by that virtual event. So these are things that like,
yep, staying engaged, staying in front, staying relevant, and just doing what it takes to get through the environments that we are in. I love that you guys did that. So we only have a couple minutes left. So Olivia, do you want to give us any Q&As that we might have?
Yes, sorry about that. I couldn't get to my mute button fast enough. Could Rebecca talk about the scholarship opportunity?
Yeah, so what we do here locally is just like, let me also just mention, just like the contest that we do, we put it in our budget. So the scholarship opportunities is put in our budget. It's agreed and voted on by our board. And what we have done is we've created a budget line item that gives the opportunity for our members to continue their education. So if they're taking an NAR designation like the PMN or the ePro, or they're furthering their education, they can actually, after they've attended that course, they could send us proof and apply for that scholarship to be reimbursed. So we'll reimburse them any money that they've paid. After they've attended, they have to show us that they attended and that they paid, and they have to submit the form to us, and then we'll reimburse them for that course.
Okay, I love that. I think we've got another minute for maybe another question or two. Olivia, do you have anything for us?
At this time, I am not seeing any other questions. I do see a comment, Molly. I'm originally from Western Massachusetts. You're so right. Real estate seems to be a total boys club in New England. So inspired by your drive, passion, and ability to pivot. Rooting for you from Denver, Colorado.
Yay, I know. I love it. I'm so excited to see the energy and the engagement from the membership that's out there in your association. And mindset is everything, and your energy is what will connect you to your members and your members to your network. So absolutely keep shining bright, young ladies. If you need anything, if you want a copy of any of the slides, again, some of them are just examples of things that have worked for us, but here's our contact information, and we are happy to help you on or offline. But I think that's our time, so I want to just thank you guys for the opportunity. And young ladies, Rebecca, Molly, you guys are amazing, and it's been my absolute pleasure to help moderate this panel. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy.
Bye.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you,
Cindy.
Olivia.